everybody. Welcome to Enjoy English. I am Shane.
I'm Betty.
How are you today, Betty?
Very good.
Do you like to go camping, Betty?
No, not a fan.
Oh,
never been a fan.
Today we're talking about camping under the stars.
Oh, sounds pretty romantic.
It sounds romantic, but you don't like camping, so that's a bit of a problem for you. I love to camp, but I like real camping. Like, you go out and there's not people like next to you, and I like it to be very wild.
Oh, okay.
And then you can just see the stars. There's no noise around you. There's not people cooking and chatting and playing games.
Isn't that a little bit dangerous, no?
Well, it could be, yeah, but that's part of the excitement.
Yeah, that's part of the fun.
So if we're camping under the stars, that just means that you're sleeping basically out in the open. You're not really, you're not in a home or something. And the idea usually is the most is like a tent, right?
对，我们今天要看的是星空下的露营啊，我们就讲到说，今天的主题很浪漫啦。那个 Under the Stars， 通常你应该会睡在帐篷里面啊。那当然你也可以说躺着嘛，就不用睡在帐篷里面也可以啊，但通常会在帐篷里面。对，然后老师有讲到 in the open， 就是在野外。
Right. Okay. So why don't we get into this topic in just a second?
Camping under the stars. Tony and Nora have arrived at their campsite and just finished setting up their tent.
Wow, this spot will be ideal for enjoying the stars at night. And the air here is so refreshing.
Well, speaking of night, it's starting to get dark. Let's work on a campfire.
Good call. I'll gather some firewood.
You should take this flashlight just in case.
Thanks. What about you? What are you going to do?
I'll get our camp chairs from the car and set up the canopy in front of our tent.
All right. What should we make for dinner tonight?
Let's heat up the canned stew. We can use the gas stove to save time.
Yeah, it may take a while to get the campfire going.
Once we finish dinner, we can enjoy some s'mores and soda.
Sounds good. Hey, did you remember to bring the bug spray? I'm worried about getting bitten while looking for firewood.
Yeah, it should be in my backpack.
Okay, I'll be back in a few minutes. Just shout if you need anything.
Don't take too long. We're running out of daylight.
Okay, so today we have a dialogue. And the dialogue is between Tony and Nora. So I guess they're the ones who are having a romantic camping adventure underneath the stars.
Maybe, or maybe they're just friends.
Maybe they're brother and sister.
Yeah, could be.
There could be enemies and they just got stuck there somehow together. You never know. You just don't know. Okay, so in the dialogue, here is the setting. The setting is Tony and Nora have arrived at their campsite and just finished setting up their tent.
所以这个背景句呢，就是 Tony 跟 Nora 呢，他们刚好呢就到达了他们的营区啦，然后他们现在呢才刚完成，就把他们帐篷搭起来 ，set up a tent， 就是把什么设置好啊，设备好。
Right, yeah, we say to set up a tent or put up a tent.
哦，这个也可以。
也可以，对。Okay. Tony begins by saying, wow, this spot will be ideal for enjoying the stars at night. And the air here is so refreshing.
哦，他就说哇，这个地方呢超棒，根本就是完美。我们如果要看星星的话，这个地方最好了。然后呢，空气又很新鲜。对，and ideal 这个字，老师可不可以帮我们解释一下？
Yeah, so ideal just means that it's what you would have in your mind as what would be perfect or good. So it kind of has this idea of being perfect, just 最理想的, right? Just very ideal.
对，可以跟 perfect 互换。对，然后是 ideal for something.
Right.
好。
Okay, so Nora continues. Speaking of night, it's starting to get dark. Let's work on a campfire.
对啊，讲到呢晚上了哈，现在刚好天也要黑了，那不然我们赶快来就是盖个萤火哈，创个萤火，把它那个萤火怎么讲升起来，生萤火。
Right, yeah, because he's talking about enjoying the stars at night. So speaking of night, it's starting to get dark, right? So we already 我们讲到了 right? Night already, so let's go ahead and start. It's starting to get dark, right?
那 speak of 的用法，我们通常是讲 speaking of 嘛，对不对？那老师可不可以给我们一个范例，就日常生活中
Right, so speaking, maybe you were talking about our friend Julie.
Julie.
You're talking about anything. And I say, oh, speaking of Julie, did you hear that she's getting married?
就是这种情况，Julie 要结婚了哈。
Did you know that?
对，我今天才知道，刚刚才知道。对，他就说这个谈到什么，就是你话题当中好像讲到一个关键字，然后你想要加想法进去。Speaking of， 那这个 work on 呢，老师
Okay, so work on a campfire. Okay, so to work on something means to do work, right? To work on something. And the idea here is you could say, let's build a fire. Let's get a fire going. But work on has this idea you can't just do it like that. It's not like turn on the fire. So to work on it means you're going to have to gather some firewood. You're going to have to light it. And, you know, it's not that easy to get
认真做的。
a fire started. I don't know if you've ever tried to start a campfire before, but, you know, you need a little bit of skill.
还要有就是体力啦，你要去先找那个 wood， 然后干脆在家就好，带那个瓦斯炉就可以，卡式炉就可以了，这个比较方便啦。他们是从引火开始哦，他们这是很专业哈，他们是从那个生引火开始。那 work on 的意思就是说你要认真去做才做得到的哈，努力一点做的事情，我们才会用 work on。
That's right. Okay, so Tony continues, good call. I'll gather some firewood.
我赞成。那我去找那个柴火，当然啦，不然要叫 Nora 找嘛，那不然 Nora 你去找柴火。
Well, why not? This is like, 2023. Women could gather some firewood, no?
If I were Nora, I would probably
prefer
just
that.
quit camping.
You would just, well, we know already you wouldn't even be in this situation to begin with. But if you were, Tony will definitely be getting the firewood for you. Right?
对，没错，他就说我赞成啊，好 ，Tony 要去做那个苦工啦。对，那老师这个 good call 是什么意思
？Good call just means I agree. I agree with what you said.
好主意这样子。
Right. So, like for example, if you say today you want to go get pizza for lunch, I would say, "Hey, good call."
他也要吃。
I've been thinking of pizza all day.
对，结果没有约你。有了 ，good call。对，我赞成很好。对，那我们
约我自己。Good call. Let's eat together.
然后 gather 的意思呢
？Gather is to bring things together, like usually from different.
收集
Yeah, from different spots, and you kind of bring them together to one place together. Yeah.
Okay.
You see gather together. Yeah, right. Okay, so continuing, we have Nora. She says, you should take this flashlight just in case.
Nora 还蛮贴心的，她就说，那你就是避免万一啦，不是怕有什么不好的事情啊，熊来啦，你就是拿那个 flashlight 那个手电筒，就是以防万一。
Yeah, right. So just in case. So just in case just means in case of what? In case there is a need for the flashlight. So, just in case it's cold or just in case it's raining, why don't you take an umbrella outside?
对，那有的时候也可以单独使用 just in case， 就是你跟他说，我做这个，我不觉得它会发生 ，but just in case.
Just in case. Right, you can say it by itself. Okay, so Tony continues. Thanks. What about you? What are you going to do?
好发现了，他说谢谢你哦。那你呢？不然你要干嘛呢？好发现了，他蛮聪明的。
Yeah, he's a smart guy, Tony. He's like, wait. I'm going to be gathering firewood. You can't just sit here in the warm tent and just relax. What are you going to do? Yeah, right. So let's see. What is Nora planning to do? Nora says, I'll get our camp chairs from the car and set up the canopy in front of our tent.
所以 Nora 这个感觉是蛮难的，这个也是要技术。他就说呢，他把那个露营的椅子从车子上面搬下来，然后呢，除了这样子，
不会，
他把它 打开啊，
要打开。
对，后面那个比较难，后面那个比较难。他说他要把那个遮雨棚啊，把它架起来，把它立在那个帐篷前面了。
Yeah, that's a little bit more difficult.
因为遮雨棚通常会蛮大的嘛，对不对
Yeah. And you probably have to really like tie things up.
还有那个柱子啊，要绑好啊，对吧？那个遮雨棚就是同学同行园游会的时候，一个一个摊位上面那个叫 canopy。
Okay, then I agree that Nora is pulling her weight. So say someone's pulling their weight, that means that they're doing, say we have a lot of work we need to do. And at first we thought, well, maybe Nora is just going to sit in the tent and not do anything, right? And we would say she's not pulling her weight. So the concept here is kind of like there's something very heavy and we all need to pull it. That's the only way that we can get this heavy thing to go. So if you're not pulling your weight, then I have to work harder.
就是 do her share， 就是她有尽到她的本分哈，她做她的那一份。
Okay, so Nora is pulling her weight. That's good. So Tony says, all right.
可以，同意。
All right. What should we make for dinner tonight?
他就想要吃的嘛，他就说，那不然今晚要吃什么
Because you're going to get hungry, gathering the firewood, opening those chairs, very tiring. Definitely hard work. And then putting up the canopy, of course, and it's getting dark. We already know that it's getting dark now, so it's about time to have some dinner. All right, so Nora says, let's heat up the canned stew. We can use the gas stove to save time.
这个我就比较不懂了哈。他就说呢，我们加热一下那个炖菜，就是那种罐装的，然后炖菜它已经先煮好的，然后呢，我们也可以用这个瓦斯炉哈，瓦斯炉就是让它煮一煮。那他为什么要去 gather firewood？ 就是他有带瓦斯炉。
Come on, firewood is for to keep warm, and remember, this is a romantic trip they are on, in my mind at least. But no, when you go, part of the romance of camping out in the wild is having a campfire. It's not a cooking fire. It's not necessarily for function as much as it is just to enjoy sitting next to it and looking at the stars, roasting marshmallows, fun stuff like that. You can cook on the campfire, but it's a little bit more difficult. Right? Yeah.
对，所以它是用瓦斯炉。对啊，那个 campfire 萤火它是有象征意涵的哈，就是你去露营不能没有萤火，不然就不叫露营了。对，但它其实有带瓦斯炉哦。那什么是 canned stew？ 那个老师你有吃过吗？台湾
Of course.
真的吗？
Yeah, well, I mean, stew is just like soup. You must have had soup that came out of a can before,
有点像同学，有点像羹比较稠一点的那种 stew， 对不对？比较稠一点的。
Right, exactly. So stew's thicker, and typically it will have chunks or big pieces of meat and potato and carrots and stuff like that, whereas soup is more watery, right? A stew is like a
比较浓
wet, like a wet meal.
有一点，就很像中文的羹，然后它通常是用文火、小火煮比较久的那一种。But you put it in a can.
Yeah, it comes canned, and then you open the can and
it's
put it
still
in the
delicious?
pot. Well, it's not ideal, but for camping, you kind of are not expecting gourmet food, and for the convenience of it, because otherwise, what are you going to bring prepared chopped vegetables, or you have to cook it at home?
太麻烦。
Right, so the can, and I've had some pretty good. Okay, I've had some canned stew before. It fills you up.
可是好像台湾比较没有卖，所以可能要去美国比较多。台湾人就是比较少吃这种。
Yeah, that's true.
台湾人喜欢煮火锅吧？他应该会备料啊，然后拿出来。
Because you guys already, like, when you go camping, the idea is you are going to barbecue. Whereas when we go camping, we don't barbecue as often. Yeah, that's not just
不同文化。
Yeah, so it's a little bit different. We barbecue at home.
对，台湾就太小，没办法 barbecue。
Right, we have a big yard, backyard, or something, and we'll barbecue out there. Right. Okay, why don't we take a break and we'll come back in a few minutes. Welcome back, everybody. So we are having this wonderful camping experience. They're preparing to have a wonderful night of enjoying the stars, Tony and Nora, right? And right now they're getting things together for the campfire. They're kind of planning what they're going to do this evening. They just arrived there, so they need to kind of set up their campsite.
现在在筹备中。
Right, so they're just getting ready to go. Okay, so continuing with the conversation, Tony says, yeah, it may take a while to get the campfire going.
Tony 就讲说，哎，对呀，那可能呢，你要让那个萤火啊，真的升起来，可能要一下下哦。
Yes.
对。
So maybe that's another reason. So you could cook. You could put some like a steel or something that you could put in the fire where you could put a pot or something, and you could heat up the stew inside there. But it might take a while for the fire to really get enough heat, so it's just more convenient. That's why he's saying that. It's just, okay, well, it's probably going to be more convenient if we just heat it up using the gas stove.
然后这里我们看到 get 什么东西 going 呢？这个跟 get 什么东西 to 怎么样是有点不同的。就是 get something going 通常是让什么东西开始怎么样，所以让那个火开始怎么样。
Right.
对，那你说 get somebody to do something， 那比较像是说服。For example,
Right.
I get Shane to lend me some money. 我说服 Shane 借我一点钱之类的。
Yeah.
就说服他。可是这里
She didn't get me to do that.
我没有啊，我现在还有一点啊。
Not yet.
搭捷运还够了，好吧？搭捷运还够。
开始铺梗吗？
没有，等一下那个马上跟他借。没有，对，所以这个 get the campfire going 的意思就是让他开始怎么样，他没有那种说服的意思，没有叫别人去做什么事的意思。
Yeah, and you could also say like in the morning, you know, I need to get up and get going.
要
Right?
走了。
To get going just has this idea of starting a process,
开始。
right? Yeah. Okay. So Nora says once we finish dinner, we can enjoy some s'mores and soda.
哇，这个又是一个台湾人比较少接触。他说：“哎，我们如果吃完晚餐的话，哈，或者就是一吃完，我们就可以去吃一些烤棉花糖、巧克力夹心饼干跟汽水。这个解释一下好不好
S'mores.
台湾也没有。
Well, I mean, did you know about this? Like growing up, did you hear? So people when they go camping or go out into the wilderness, that's not a typical thing for Taiwanese to do. To make s'mores. You don't do
好像
that.
没有哎。
Right, yeah. And it's just something that we do. That's just part of the campfire tradition. One, roast the marshmallows. So we're already roasting marshmallows. Well, now this roast marshmallow is going to be hot and starting to melt. Why not put some chocolate with it, make it into and then put it between some graham crackers, which are really cookies. You know, the difference between cracker and cookie. People get that confused a lot in Chinese, right? You just say 饼干.
对。
有咸的有甜的, right? But for us, a sweet 饼干 is a cookie. And
甜的是 cookie.
And then a salty one would be a cracker.
所以这个是配咸的 cracker。
No.
不是。
It's sweet.
是甜。
It's a graham cracker. So let me go back a little bit and say, generally speaking.
通常来讲的话，甜的是 cookie， 咸的是 cracker。
Right. And I guess because a cracker, we think of it usually as kind of like a square and
正方形的。
it kind of breaks a certain way.
脆脆的。
Yeah, super 脆, right? Like, so for us, this graham cracker is actually sweetened, but it tastes more like a cookie. Or I guess it's a sweet cracker. Yeah. But anyway, it's a sandwich at the end. That's what you're doing is you have this delicious
对，
sandwich.
基本上就是棉花糖，然后加巧克力酱，再盖上饼
And
干
then
皮。
and the chocolate starts to melt a little bit, and then it's
小朋
just
友应该很喜欢。
delicious. 当然也很喜欢. I love
对
s'mores.
然后 soda 的话就是汽水，一般来讲就是任何的软性的饮料啊，有汽水都可以叫 soda。
Right, and some people, it's at least in America, it's kind of regional. In other parts of the U.S., they will say pop.
pop，
Or you could say soda pop.
两个加起来也可以。
So it kind of depends on where you're from. Some people just call it pop, some people call it soda, some people call it soda pop.
那我可以说 Coke 吗？也可以。
You could say Coke if you're talking about Coke.
Coca-Cola OK， 所以就是要拿那个 Coca-Cola， 那是 Coke。
But since Coke is so famous, we would get the idea that, okay, can I have a Coke or something? And someone brings you
别牌的妹妹。
like Sprite. You're not going to say, wait a second.
我要 Coke.
I needed Coke.
我要
I said
可乐。
Coke. But, yeah, so generally it kind of has this idea.
碳酸饮
Big
料。
soda. Right, sure. Okay. So continuing, Tony says, sounds good. Hey, did you remember to bring the bug spray? I'm worried about getting bitten while looking for firewood.
对，那个 Tony 呢就说，没错没错哈，这个你的主意还不错。那你记得吗？你记得有带那个驱虫剂吗？我有点担心，就是我在找那个火柴的时候，木材的时候啊，我会被那个蚊子咬这样子。
Yeah, or other kind of bugs. You never know. It could be mosquitoes. There's lots of crazy biting bugs in the woods, but yeah, most of the time it's the mosquitoes.
对，
that get you, right? And so we will just call this bug spray.
这不管它是外国是不管你是喷在身上还是直接喷那个动物，都可以叫 bug spray， 对不对？
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. So if it's like, even if it's for killing like cockroaches or something like that, we would call that a kind of bug
都
bug
可以，
spray
所以是
too.
涂身上的跟直接喷的都可以。
Right, exactly. It's just you're using it against the bugs. That's the point. Okay. And so it says, he's getting bitten while looking for firewood. So looking for just means to
去找
to tell.
去找
Yeah, so it's not very difficult. So it's just like he's going to be, another way we could say it is us searching for it.
对，去找 searching for looking for。
Okay. So Nora says, yeah, it should be in my backpack.
有啦，应该是可能是在我的那个后背包那边。
Right. So a backpack, as we know, is just a kind of
后背包就是待在后面。
yeah, a bag that has straps in the front. Right? We call these straps, and that's what you put around here to kind of keep it attached to your back.
只是那个同学可能要注意他发音，再听那个训老师发一次，因为中文的话都是一样重，可能台湾同学可能会念成 backpack， 但它其实不是这样，它是
backpack.
重音在第一个音节，第二个音节就是比较轻的咯。
Yeah. So yeah, you do need to pay attention when there are compound words, like two words that are by themselves could be used and then they get put together. Oftentimes one is going to have more of a stress on that word. So you need to pay attention not to do that. Like, for example, we might say, instead of saying policeman, we say policeman. Policeman,
对
not policeman.
对
Right.
重音在第一个音节。
Right. Okay. So continuing. So Tony looks around in the backpack and pulls out the bug spray. So there it is.
描述那个动
In the
作。
backpack.
对
Right.
所
Okay.
以他就去 Tony 就是去翻找那个背包嘛，对不对？然后他就把那个 bug spray 驱虫剂把它拿出来了。
Okay. So Tony says, "Okay, I'll be back in a few minutes. Just shout if you need anything."
他说好 ，OK， 那我一下子几分钟后就回来了。我怀疑他几分钟后回得来，但是他说，如果你需要任何东西，你就喊我哈，你大声喊我。
Right. Exactly. Yeah. So shout to shout means to speak with a very loud voice.
用喊的。
Yeah. Okay. And so Nora says, "Don't take too long. We're running out of daylight."
哇，这听起来有点危险。他说不要花太久哦，我们那个 running out of something 就是快要没有了。所以那个日光啊，那个太阳光快要没有了。所以你可能会回不来哦。
Yeah, that's possible. If you're in the woods, you might get lost, even if you have a flashlight. Yeah, you pretty much want to be set up in your campsite before it gets dark. Right?
对，那这里的 run out of 的话，是
Yeah.
什么意思？
Yeah, so just to run out of something just means that it's almost been used up, usually. So for example, you could say, "Hey, we're running out of milk. Can you go buy some at the store together?" So it's just 快没了.
快没了。
So basically here we have this idea of there's sunshine out there, but it's getting less and less and less, and pretty soon there's not going to be any more.
通常会跟现在进行使用，代表说还没有全部用完，但是快要没有了的感觉。
Right, exactly. Okay. And all right, well, that's all the time we have for camping under the stars. Does this inspire you at all to want to go camping?
I'll think about it. But
How about glamping?
glamping sounds good.
Glamping, yeah, that's like we go glamorous
豪华露营。
camping. You put them together. Glamorous just means like
奢华的。
This is very nice. Like some people who don't like camping will go glamping. So maybe glamping for you.
Maybe, yeah.
All right.
还是不想。
Okay, we'll see you guys next time.
拜拜。
Bye.